A time has come. It is Arsenal Fan Circle. We are closing out the season. Want to thank everyone who's been part of the season. Mahir, Gary, here with me. Thanks for joining, as always. But it's a bigger crew. It's Tony. It's Alonso. It's Anthony. It's Sam. It's Stan. So, and all of you beautiful people who have come to watch us over the season, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Um, Once again, we may be delivering some therapy this session because what we saw yesterday was not what we wanted to see in terms of the dividing of the trophies. And, Chelsea went and got their second one this season. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. I have a friend who is a Chelsea supporter, so I got to congratulate you, Richie. And I got to commiserate my brother-in-law, Mike Wilson, who is a City fan, and also my nephew, who was taking it very, very badly because City lost the Champions League. So, Zach, but you have a consolation prize, Zach. You are a decent team. You follow a decent team, and City won the league today, or not this season, and won the League Cup as well. So I know it's tough when you're young. Your friends are going to banter you a little bit, but Gary,
Yeah,
Mahir can attest to it. It makes you stronger, right, Gary?
too much stronger. Like commiserations to the Mansunians. I mean, even my friend Tariq Martin, who's in Cape Town, I mean, my hometown, and them, they were very. I mean, we even backed them. Even us, Arsenal, we were like, come on, don't give it to Chelsea. Chelsea is shite, man.
Yeah.
And now we can't say anything because they are officially the biggest team in London, unfortunately. And that's just the way it is, man.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Gary, I saw a tweet from Clive. He said something, and I'm paraphrasing here. Don't admire your neighbor's garden, tend to your own garden, and take
Yeah.
care of what you need in
Yep.
your own house.
No, definitely, and that's what we want them to do. But I don't think they care about our garden, right? That's the thing. The custodians of this garden don't care enough.
Don't at all
Don't-
care. Not even
Yeah.
enough.
The only
At
time
all.
they don't care. So yeah, and that's the problem, right? We're custodians to some degree, but not the ones that actually can make the difference, right? We can cheer the team on when they get on the field, but we can't plan who gets on the field and who is part of the team. So that's somebody else's job, but they don't do it. They don't want to do it. They tell us they do, right? I mean,
Yep.
They tell us they're going to do that. They tell us to be excited, right? What is that? Be excited about? What are we excited about?
Absolutely bugger all.
Yeah, and then-
Nothing exciting this season where we're hoping for the lesser of two evils when two of our rivals play each other. We had City, Spurs, that came good for us. We had Villarreal, Man United. We should have been there. We should have won. We should be sitting here with the Europa League. I've no doubt in my mind about that.
Getting into Champions League.
And then Champions League, we wanted City to do it. And man, Mahir, did that look like Mikel Arteta was the manager of Manchester City?
Yes.
Because we've seen a lot of that this season.
I was just going to tell you guys, that's exactly what it is, Ray. Sorry for being rude and interrupting, but that's exactly what it is. He turned into his so-called protege. I mean, playing without a striker, that's Arteta. Experimenting in big finals, that's Arteta. Everything to the T. Arteta.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for my nephew. You know, he wanted to go to school the next day, maybe tomorrow, and hold his head up. But you've got the league. If you're a City fan, it's not what you want to hear. You have the league in the pocket. You probably won that months ago, and I think they geared down a little bit. Gary, Manchester City took their foot off the pedal a little bit.
It's weird because It's weird because he didn't think. I understand why Liverpool did, because they were so much further ahead than City was. I mean, they were so far ahead, right? I mean, we went out for COVID, the COVID, and then came back, and it was like, it's only a matter of time. It took a little bit longer for City, so it was a little strange. And not only that, but it wasn't like they didn't have other opportunities to win, right? Yeah. You know what? He killed it. He killed the garden when he did that. So yeah, yeah. It's not. It's this. You need to sprinkle it around, but he just took one big Triceratops Rex. What do they call that dinosaur? Like you've seen
We got to say, Gary,
Brontosaurus Rex. So Brontosaurus. That's what it is. A Brontosaurus just took a big plop on our garden.
Gary, Tony is fertilizing his garden, so I hope he's not taking dumps as well, following the same pattern as well. I hope he's doing it the right way, Tony, and then join us a little bit later. But yeah, Gary, Kroenke took a big dump in the Arsenal garden, and it's a tough one for us. Show us intent this summer, please.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think any of us believe that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. We're not content, but we won't be surprised if nothing happens because it hasn't happened before. Right. And so that's the sad thing about this is it's really easy. I always say it's always, I know you're going to hear me say the same things over and over again because they're true. It's an easy thing to fix. You've got a lot of things that need to be fixed with this team and somebody needs to fix it. And that's what Clive was talking about, right? We can marvel at the Cities and the Chelseas and the Leicester Cities for all the things that they did, but they didn't just show up and the game was won, right? There was a lot of things behind the scenes that they did long before a player stepped foot on the field, right? And we're not doing that. We're not even getting the right players on the team, much less on the field. So we're just stuck. We're just stuck, and we're just hoping for something good. It's one of those things where you're hoping for something good to happen, but then you're also like, well, nothing we're doing right now is making that change. So do they want something bad to happen before they do something good for the team? Hopefully this Ek is the only thing that can make a big change, right? The worth of the team is dropping. Right now we've made nobody's left the team officially, right? Like nobody actually has left where you can say
not yet.
They're not coming back, and nobody's coming in, right?
As the assemble says here, Stefan, he owns the garden, so he does what he wants, and nobody can tell him no. We got only 5 people here, Stefan, and I think you're seeing a drop off of Arsenal fans who some of them want to go into outer space, some of them want to jump on the Millennium Falcon. It's going to be a little bit of a Star Wars twist here. Take off, get out of this galaxy.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are done with. It's also it's a holiday weekend, so I know a lot of people are away. Yeah. So hopefully they'll watch the rerun of this. But I know for at least here, Monday's a holiday, and I know Monday's a holiday over in the UK, right? So I know a lot of people have taken a long vacation, and this season has made it easy to say, you know what, I could take a little bit of time away from Arsenal and stuff like that. So
and it's the right thing to do. Sign off with Arsenal, but stick with us. Come see us Sundays and Thursdays. We'll go through the Euros. We'll take you through the Euros. We'll take you through transfer frenzy through this summer. But I would say, Mahir, only give back to Arsenal what they were willing to give to you. If they give you something, give them something back. But don't throw it all out there on the line hanging.
Yeah, there's some big Arsenal supporters. I mean, especially in terms of, like Claude. Claude gave his whole life, and it's just a shame he suffered through so much depression and mental anxiety and all that, specifically due to this club. I mean, we were once a very damn great club, and it's just gone downhill. And you devote more love and time to something that you just admire, because it's so beautiful. And to see it get destroyed, and if you put your all into it, it can lead you down a very dark road, especially if you don't have anything else to look forward to,
Yeah.
And I was just going to say now, like to Gary's point, you see what Chelsea did was, Chelsea were below us, we were in 6 points with them not too long ago. And guess what? They sacked the legend of a manager who was Lampard. And they brought in Thomas Tuchel. And look at the difference it's made. I mean, I just wish at the same time we would do something like that. There's a lot of coaches available at the moment. The Allegris, Zidane.
Yeah,
Why would they want to come to Arsenal But at the same time, we can still pull and make a massive difference, such as that Conte is available.
There's a lot we can do, here. There's players available, there's coaches available, so we'll see what Arsenal do with that. The title of this show is Hindsight is 2021. So we're looking back now, Gary. Hindsight is 2021.
Nothing like looking at the newspaper and go, "Yep, I knew it. I knew that's going to happen." That's what we're kind of doing here. But I think a lot of us had we had some positive thoughts coming into this season, right? We looked at how we ended the season. We ended the season with a trophy. All right, not a small one, not a little plate, not a little trophy nobody cares about. This is a big trophy, right? Not how many teams have a chance to win this? Right? It's more than the 20 teams in the league, right? In first division, this is hundreds of teams that have an opportunity to win it, right? We talk about when this season starts. It starts long before the big teams actually think about it, right? It starts in June, July when they start playing the small division. The smaller teams are playing for this to get a chance to play to play with the big boys, basically. Yeah. So it's not. It's little. It looks little to a lot of people, but it's probably just as big as anything else as far as the opportunities that are out there. This isn't 20. This isn't the best of 20. When you look at it, this is the best of whatever 100, 200 teams or whatever.
Many hundreds of teams over. I think the pyramid tier, the tiers. I think there's 7 tiers in the league as well. Well, listen, I wanted to, before we get into this and looking back, Gary, I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to ask Mahir. You got through all of the results this season. How many points more do you think we left on the table this season?
Wow.
I've got a figure, but what
you know what? I know you asked, and I probably don't have an exact number, but we definitely, if you just go off my memory, right? Off my memory, points that we've lost. Leicester City, we lost at least a point there. That's early in the season, right? And we should have gotten at least a point there. I mean, we got VAR'd, but then we got Vardied all in the same game, right? Yeah. Right, we got VAR'd and Vardied in the same game, right? Yeah. So that's at least a point. Yeah. I don't know if you want to go, Mahir, if you want to go through this one.
Well, we're gonna go through, but off the top of your head, what would you guess at?
I'm gonna say, because really all we needed was like 5, so I'm gonna say like maybe 6 points.
That's exactly what I have. I've got 6 points, and we'll go through it.
Yeah.
But Mahir, what do you think? How many points did we leave on the table? Through bad play, bad man management, bad substitutes, everything that was bad. How many points did we leave begging?
12.
12. Okay. All right. So listen, let's get into it. Gary, first part of this Star Wars saga, New Hope, right? Everything's bright. Everything looks good. We start the season August, having won the FA Cup August 1st. And Aubameyang's dropping trophies, which is a great thing. It's a great thing to get a trophy in your hands.
And now it's telling now, right? He's dropping trophy. He didn't know how to pick up a trophy. That's how sad it is for us. A captain can't even pick up a trophy without dropping it to the fall. And then he's got the base upside down, and you're like, whatever, I don't care because we got a trophy. But you look at it now, you're like, damn. That's sad, right? We don't know how to pick up a trophy, and we don't know how to put the base back on, so it's it looks right. And I mean,
well, right, we can get through. We can get through the first section real quickly because part 1, we win the FA Cup. We're full of hope. Whether you want to call this a trophy or not, we won the Community Shield.
Prestigious.
I personally don't. It's a preseason tournament. We won a preseason tournament. It's like saying we won the Audi Cup, and we know who won the Audi Cup once upon a time. Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, the Spuds won the Audi Cup. There you go.
You know what? It's a true Champions Cup, though. It is. Only
right.
It's a true Champions. Yep. Only 2 teams can ever play for it. Not 3, not 4, not 5, 2. Yep. And you have to have had a trophy to get there, right? The requirement to play in that match is you won a trophy last season. I mean, it's the only Champions League we got going on right now.
Yeah, it's the only thing we can qualify from right here. Listen, but yeah, the FA Cup, we beat Liverpool. Things are looking good. We acquire Gabrielle and we acquire Willian, and it looked all good on the opening day, man. Here, Willian shone in a 3-0 win against Fulham away from home.
Yo, a lot of fans, all of us would say that as a bench player, we were thinking, okay, William, that's fine. In hindsight, guess what? Biggest flop I've ever seen play, even floppier, if that's a word, floppier than.
Sure.
I was thinking of somebody that came into our club with a back injury, and I think his name is also a female name, Kim. Yeah. You guys know him?
Kim Kallstrom. Right.
Even worse than that signing. I mean, geez, fam. We like fully in the mud. We're fully in the mud. We weren't expecting him to be in the starting 11, but Arteta, that's his son, along with the guy they call Bellend, not Bellerin. He's a Bellend with all of his Fashion Nova stuff. So yeah, fam, I don't know.
Yeah, look, I respect the player who he is, the person who he is, Hector Bellerin. He's a great person, but we need to be moving on from these kinds of players. He needs to find the challenge somewhere else. Gary, we beat Fulham 3-0. West Ham 2-1 at home. We're off to a great start, 6 points on the board right away. Go to Leicester City in the Cup, win 2-0. Pepe forced an own goal, and Ketia stabs the ball in at the end. And then we go to Liverpool, we lose 3-1. You would say maybe that's a result that could happen to us. We beat Liverpool in the on penalties in the Cup. And then finally, to end the New Hope section, we beat Sheffield United 2-1 at home. 3 wins out of 4 in the league. Looking real good. We'll take 9 points from 12.
And you remember, and I know you remember basically going into that stretch of games, right? The next stretch of games weren't teams that were easy wins. Those were, I think we had probably who knows how many talks about it. This is a stretch of teams that were doing, were surprises in the previous season, or teams that are closer to what our level is, and we didn't even that's not the level we want to be, but that's where we seem to be right now. Mm-hmm. So it was going to be tough games because these are teams that. No, it's not that we can't. We should beat them. It's just that they can beat us as well, right? So that's the tough games. Like you said, you got, City, Leicester City, Villa, Leeds, and the Wolves all in a stretch, and it's like, do we get 1 win out of this? Right? That would really be really bad. Or actually, I think we were thinking, we'll probably get 2 wins, maybe a draw and a loss, because definitely the City lost at that
Gary,
point, right?
Do you want to warm your hands first in the first part here in New Hope, the 3 wins from 4, and then we get to the
that's we expected that, right? So we expected to be able to come out and get those 9 points, right? And if you look at my what I had as my that's my estimate. I had us squeaking out that win against Liverpool because it was early in the season. We had just beat them, not even a month before.
Charity Shield.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, you know what? Maybe we'll surprise them, because I don't think we're going to do it at the end of the season. No way. But that would be like one of those early season wins that you surprise, right? And we could have, right? We could have we could have won that match. Yeah, it doesn't look like it on the score when you see a 3-1 score, but we had opportunities, and we gave away some really easy goals. So hello, Stan, it's Stefan. We got the assembled in the house.
Assembled.
Who am I missing? Anyone before?
Shout out yourself if you're watching. Yes. Just check in with us. Steven's here. Steven Denham.
Steve, yes. Yeah.
It's a terrible day here. Raining, cold here, right, Gary?
Oh
Same
no,
to
yeah,
you.
it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be barbecuing and all of that. Like this, like in the early part of the week, it was sunny. I'm hot. I'm like conditioners on, and then all of a sudden, like now, I'm got long sleeve on and a hoodie underneath the blankets, and it's cold. And it's like, wait a second, this is
Exactly
like
the
this
same.
is like this is like the Arsenal, right? So the holidays coming, the season's gonna start, big things are happening. You get prepared for it because it's all hot and ready. Next thing you know, it's holiday weekend. Boom, sun's gone, clouds are covering the sky, rain's coming
Raining.
down, and you're like, thank you. I had an Arsenal holiday weekend.
We got
Gary,
an
I like,
arse.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that one. I like that description. I think guys, please. You know what? Funny enough, whether it was exactly the same year.
Arsenio, joining us.
What's happening?
Hello, sir.
Funny enough, it was exactly the same year. Yo. And we had barbecue. We had Bri actually talking about barbecue. I kept
See,
you guys some T-bone. So just drop in when you guys are free. And
a great day in England and Ireland. I was talking to my family earlier. It's a beautiful day there. It's cold here, but anyway, this is Arsenal. This is
So
and
the
much
new
of
hope, see, the new hope for us was the first 4 games of the season. That's because that's how we expected to play, and we expected to get a certain number of points, and we got them. So all's good, right? We're just going to continue with, we're going to build on this, right? 1 game at a time. Take the last 4, go for the next 4.
yeah. And Lacazette scored against the run of play against Liverpool. We hoped a new hope. We hoped that we would hold out there, but it wasn't long before Bern Leno. This is a deficiency in his game. He tends to parry some balls out in front of players, and before we knew it, we were 2-1 down, and Lacazette had some chances. We remember to equalize, and Jota. This is the time, and we still are that kind of team out here. We hand out gifts to teams. Jota got his first goal for Liverpool against us. You'll see that run through the season.
But like Oprah, you get a goal.
Like
You get a goal.
Well, think about it. Jota was he was the warning sign for what was going to happen next, right?
Yep, exactly.
Right, because you see what happens next in the next match, right? Yeah, and I guess if you wanted to, do we want to talk a little bit about what we saw yesterday, or do you have that in the works?
Yeah, real quick, we can dive into a Stan said here. After watching the Champions League final, we can see where Mikel gets his tinkering and overthinking. Should be fired. Pure arrogance. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, you've been winning all season doing a certain thing, and then all of a sudden this, you come into some of your biggest games and you don't look the same at all. You don't look the same at all. Also, you're not building on your players from the previous. I mean, Aguero looks like he's ready to go. And he, when you do see him come into the game, you're like, so what did you see before this match that led you to believe he shouldn't even get a lot of time or start? You could pull him early. You got 5 subs if he's really out of sorts and out of form or whatever. But he looked really good when he came on, and he scored 2 goals before. You can build on. That's the energy you want to build on, right? Chelsea thinks they got your number from the last 2 times you played them, right? Chelsea's coming in with a lot of confidence. You know what? We're not going to win the league, but we've beaten this team, and we know how to beat them.
Yeah, it's
right.
A lot of football is right there between the 2 ears. The Sambo said Arsenal should not be outside the top 5. He's overconfident, seems to do as he pleases. He's lived on Pep's reputation. What Pep showed yesterday, he lacks a few things. And I've cobbled together. We're going to go through it. 6 points extra that we should have. That would give us 67 points, equal to what Chelsea ended up with this season. But goal difference would have meant we would be 5th, but we'd still be talking about missing out on top 4 through goal difference and getting into the Europa League next season. It may, in fact, be better for us that we're not in Europe next season. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about that through the summer here. Easily Stan, it's the Pep show. You don't need tactics. He wins because he's great. And to Gary's point, Tuchel did get that win in the league against City. The players knew they could believed actually they could do it. Not feeling a holding midfielder, which has been working for you all season, and false nine also.
They
Not
didn't
great.
surprise. They didn't surprise City. Sorry, they didn't surprise Chelsea at all, right?
Or
Well,
Arsenal
they thought
fans.
they did. They thought they were going to surprise them, but Chelsea's like, no. Mentally, we got this no matter what you do. And so, they went with what they thought was their strongest team, and I don't think City did. Right? I don't think City had their best players, at least on form, and maybe a structure that was going to work. I mean, when I was watching the match, I mean, a lot of fans get on Sterling a little bit, but I just don't feel like he's the guy for them some games. And these are the games where time and time again, he's just not going to give them what they want. He's going to get the ball in really inside the box, and nothing comes of it. Nothing, no shots that you can think of that he missed. He doesn't even, so for me, it's wasted opportunities. Yeah, he gets in the box, but he doesn't do anything, and that's what I saw from most of that game. Mahrez can bring something. It just doesn't come. It's not consistent enough, But Sterling just doesn't give it to me enough. And yes, he may score a lot of goals, but I just don't feel like he's the one that's going to get it done for them when they need it. I mean, it's So that. And so then you've got De Bruyne out there basically by himself. But you know what? They've just put a lot of guys on him. He doesn't get much space, and to push the ball out wide is basically what I think they were doing.
One man managed to control all that midfielders, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne. You know who that one man is, guys? The very humble. And I love this player. Imagine what he could have done for Arsenal. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about.
We know where
No, we got the Swiss King, so we are so much better for it. They got better chocolate, so we went with the chocolate.
We got the Swiss Army knife. He can play in any position. You can pull out any blade you need. He'll fit in there for you. He's a Swiss Army knife.
I don't want them.
Did you saw the tweet, right? It's got basically his last 5 years. He's ended the last 5 years with a trophy, right? And back-to-back Premier Leagues, a Europa League, a World Cup, and now a Champions League. All in the last 5 years, last 5 seasons, he's ended it with a trophy.
And Arsene Wenger, Arsene Wenger will tell you he could have signed Kante. He almost signed him. Could have done this.
He could have signed Messi. He could have signed Pele. He could have signed Ronaldo. Rolandinho. All these.
We would have had a team full of superstars, Gary.
We would have had Ronaldo and Zlatan, and then behind him goes.
I know. Let's stop right now because we're going to get more depressed. This should be a therapy session for us.
We're laughing too good. I love the laughter, guys, and the chatter and the banter between all of us, even when things are at its toughest. Because eventually, at some point, the owners will realize. At some point, I don't know when this is going to be, that you need a world-class coach. You need backing behind those coaches, like directors of footballs, world-class coaching staff, in order to get the players amped, and world-class players to come in. First of all, even players that you can see potential in. Like I know there's a lot of rumors that are coming in right now, and if you believe any of the rumors, it's going to cost around. I was watching a podcast earlier. I think it was All Guns Blazing with DT, and they were saying players going out and players coming in. I think it was like 150 mil out and 200 plus mil coming in. So I was like,
we'll be lucky to get 150 for 7 or 8 players. We'll be very lucky to do that.
I know that.
I guess we'll get to that, but there's no way I can see us selling enough players. Selling to get 100. Much. I mean, somebody said 60, and I was scared by it, but it's more of our execution. Right, It's like how is this striker in front of the goal? Are they pretty good? Or are they bad? Right, we know. So even if they get 100 more chances, we know they're going to still miss the same percentage. Right. So this is Arsenal, another transfer window. They need to let go 10 players, right? At least 10. More than likely 5 at best, and then
if we sell if we sell 10 at an average of 15 million, we might make that 150 million.
Yeah, but that's if we can sell 10. We can't. We haven't. One player has not left our team, and now Euros are happening, and then Olympics are happening, and then the season is starting, and then the preseason is happening, and all of that. So where is the time to do all this transfer business?
We have to do it right now.
We got one day, right? Tomorrow
Do it today.
Tomorrow the players are going to whatever camp they are to get ready for the Euros. So I mean, not that it shouldn't matter to us.
They need to fly the 3 hours in for negotiations. So Arsenal, hit us up. We are on YouTube. Hit Gunnet News up if you have to. Hit all of us up. And just call us in for some transfers, fam.
Tony, welcome in.
Tony, I can smell you coming, dude.
Fertilizer.
I haven't got it yet.
You haven't even got it yet?
Nope.
So why are you late? What are you late? Why are you late if the shit didn't make it?
Gary's handing out fines today, Tony. Listen, this is the banter we love here at this channel. So our community, as Sam said on Thursday night. As Stan said here, so I'm supposed to believe that strikers are now redundant just because Pep said so. No, you need strikers. Definitely. Yes, remember, Stan, it's the players who are working to the manager's plan. Yeah, that's not too great last night. Actually,
once again, right? So this was Arsenal, right, that was playing yesterday. Then everybody would be complaining, it's because the players aren't good, right? So a team that just won the league by, running away with it by 10 points or whatever it was, struggles against a team that they had, maybe 14, 15 points on in the league. Right? No. And not only that, but you're bringing back your striker, right? You're bringing back your striker from the previous seasons, who's one of the top scorers in the league in his career. He scores 2 goals in the previous game. You're like, all right, well, that's got to be a plus, right?
Well, it's the perfect time to bring Tony in, Gary, because Tony will liken this to the Lacazette situation, right, Tony?
Yeah, Lacazette getting 3 goals in the first 3 games of the season. Then he got benched and went with Eddie for the rest of the first half of the season for whatever reason. Like I said, I thought he'd get 22 goals. He's 9 off of it. I think he could have got it.
By the way, I do want to say Thursday night's podcast was based on Premier League games. You both knew that, and you picked Liverpool, Tony.
No, I didn't.
Tony, I'm very sorry, but I did watch the replay. Yes, you said Liverpool. But you corrected yourself and said, I think City's going to do it.
Was that predictions about what's going to happen?
Yeah.
All of us.
He's like, I think City can do it, but I'm going to go with Liverpool. It's basically how it was phrased.
Yep.
So it should have been phrased. City's
anyway. So we won't make Tony blush. We'll move on, Gary. Part two of the Star Wars saga.
This is it. So after this explosion,
Darth Vader brings in all
the ground, everything scorched, the land is gone. This is like when the Death Star blows up and it's. That's what this is. This is. These 8 games, these 8 losses, are when the star, what is it, the Alliance or whatever, is attacking the Death Star.
The Empire comes back. They're searching the galaxy for the good guys.
You could even have a cameo from Jar Jar Binks, Misa Tinguisa. Shit.
Oh God. Gary, it starts off with Manchester City away from home, and Partey has joined us, but he gets 5 minutes at the end of the game. Obviously not fit. He just took 1 training session, but this kind of coincided with trying to shoehorn. There's a word we use throughout this season. Shoehorn Partey into the side. We remember the double VAR game against Leicester. Partey was trying to be in midfield as well, alongside 2 other players. I think it was Ceballos and Jack at the time. The mix just wasn't right, Gary, at the time.
Yeah, it's surprising, right? Because Arsenal is the one that went out and got Partey, and like you said, didn't look like they knew how they were going to use him. I mean, I think everybody in the world knew how we could use a player like that, right? But Arsenal, that's it. They didn't. And like you said, they brought him in for 5 minutes in the Liverpool game when the game was pretty much over, right? We're down. I think we're down one, or maybe I don't know.
Down a goal at City, yeah.
But
Lego
he did pretty well in those minutes that they brought him in, right? So you're thinking, all right, that's a plus. But then you're like, okay, so they're saving him, and if you foreshadow to when we brought in, when we brought in Erdegaard, he played right away, and you're like, you're thinking to yourself, well, how does Partey cost more? Is more important to our team, but yet you can't put him in the game.
He was injured, Gary.
It's what?
He was injured the whole season.
He wasn't
Partey.
injured at that point,
Yeah.
right? He played. If he was injured, he actually played.
Who was injured? Tony.
He wasn't injured in the Liverpool game.
He was.
He was maybe he had an injury coming to us, but
Why did he play?
He did
Ask
play.
Brownie. He said he had an injury.
Brownie knows everything, then, right? We have to go off of what
I guess so.
Brownie's the new Gilla and Ballon.
You might as well get something out of him, and he didn't do that either. So
yeah. So
I mean, like you said in that Liverpool game, we missed some opportunities to score. We got lucky with the goal we did score. We had defensive, like our defense is really good, but in that game, our defense was.
I like this. Let's run with this now. If you got some Star Wars analogies, weave them into this story. We're going to put Arteta's Anakin. Just waiting for him to reveal he joined the dark side. Pep is
Emperor Palatine. Then he's Emperor Palatine. He's not.
Yeah. All right, Tony. So 8 losses in these 11 games. Starts off with City away, and then Leicester at home. First, before we get into it, Tony. How many points do you think we left on the table throughout the whole season?
20.
No, be realistic now. Come on. We're not winning the league. We finished with 81 points. We've won the league. No.
15 to 20.
Say 15. Yeah, no, 15. I said 12. And that's realistically 4 games, guys.
Ray, you can't tell him what he can't. He said 20. Maybe he'll back it up, but he can't back it up because it's Arteta.
Part of what we have to do here, Gary, is entertain the viewers, and that will be entertainment. 15, 20 points is entertainment.
No, I mean, but there were 20 points that we could have gotten, right? We lost 13 matches.
Let's be realistic. Be realistic.
But look,
if you ever want telling people to be realistic, do you know how hypocritical that is, right?
I'm an optimistic realist.
You said be realistic, but you've been backing your uncle all season.
No,
that's not realistic. What he's been showing you. Guess what? I'm not good at this.
No, if Tony says 15, realistically, that's 5 games. That's why I said 12.
Okay.
Because 12 is about 4 games.
Let's go through them. Tony, you're sniffing that manure. Sam says, Stefan, oh yes, it's the refs won't protect their players so much. Didn't you notice the ref yesterday wasn't accepting City's gamesmanship? You get a different kind of referee in Europe. Okay, so would you accept everyone?
Before we continue, where would we been if we didn't have VAR?
We would have been 4th place, right?
No, we would have been 3rd from the one I seen.
Okay. I saw one with 4th place. All right, Brownie.
Ask Brownie about
No, we're not gonna relitigate all of that. We have to move on here. We've got to get through things. You got another hour to get through the rest of the season. We're in October. So the Leicester City game, as Gary mentioned, I agree with you, Gary. We had a disallowed goal early on. Our player wasn't even in the line of sight of Schmeichel. And we lose a goal at the end through Jamie Vardy's sucker punch. I think we could have at least got a draw there. I would give us +1 point there.
Everybody knew that they've won many games what was going to happen. All right. We knew Vardy was going to play, and we knew what that meant. So yeah, I'm with you, Tony. But everybody, it was written, it was scripted. Like they had articles already written, Vardy's gonna come on with like 10 minutes to go and score the goal that either gives him the win or the draw. It was written, it was in the stars. If you looked up at the stars, well, bang, and that's what it had. It had Vardy with a goal. I mean, that's what we do.
Uh-huh.
Gary, do you think we would have gotten away with a draw in that game against Leicester then, or a win?
Win.
We didn't take any shots in that Leicester game. Wasn't that one of the worst games of the season, if I remember?
Yes. Yeah. There's been
Quite
quite a few.
no shot at all in the first half.
Vardy's not on the field, and we're like sitting back looking defensive, like, you know what? We'll take the draw. Even though you know who's sitting on the bench.
This is what I want to see. Stan joining in here. Vinay is C3PO, just dead in the background.
He's just whining all the time. He's just whining. Oh, my arm, my leg. Stop picking at my eyes. Remember that? The little things on his eye attacking him? That's Vinay, for sure.
Tony, fourth. Tony, fourth. The force isn't so strong with this one, Tony. Tony, defend yourself.
I'm being optimistic, like Ray.
I'm going to give us 6 points, and I think the first place is Leicester at home, where we should have gotten out of there with a
You're
draw.
only giving us 6 more points?
I'm giving us 6 more points throughout the season. That would have been good for 5th place, just missing out on 4th by goal difference, Tony.
Here I am giving us 15 to 20. You give me shit for not being optimistic.
He didn't say optimistic. He said realistic.
Did you give us 6 damn
Big difference.
You guys, man.
I'm
loving the energy.
Tony, a game against Aston Villa at home where we lose 3-0. We're not getting 3 points.
Did you just realize your uncle shit? Is that what you just realized?
We're not getting 3 points. Okay, listen. Tell me where your 20 points are coming from. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to tell us where your 20 points are coming from.
I don't have a schedule pulled up.
How did you get 20 then?
Okay, Tony.
Because I thought we should have had at least 78 points.
No. I'm going to defend Tony. On this. Tony,
I think we should have had 15 to 20 more points.
I can find the 20 points easy, right?
I can find.
We lost to Burnley. We lost 5 points to Burnley. Boom.
Yeah.
That's 5, right? We should have beaten them, right? Leicester, a point, you got that, so we're at 6, all right?
Crystal Palace?
We lost to them twice. Right? Oh, sorry, we lost to them that one game. We should have not lost that game.
No.
Right? At least give me a draw there, right? That's 7, all right? We lost to West Ham twice. I think the second game should have been at least a draw. All right? That's at least 8 right there.
Right?
All right.
Crystal
Villa
Palace?
games. What about the Villa games? I think the second Villa game we could have got something out of that.
Right. We got 3.
First one, I think the first
At
one
least a point.
yeah. So we're at 9. All right.
Crystal Palace, Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm realistic here. I'm realistic.
Realistic? You're always full of fucking bullshit optimism.
Listen,
Rainbows and unicorns.
I've got plus. Keep in mind here, plus 1 point here for Leicester City at home. One shining light in this sequence, Gary, is we go to Old Trafford in a controlled game. Partey's been with us for a couple of weeks. We're starting to see maybe the benefit of Partey bedding into our midfield now. And him and Elneny were instrumental in sealing a 1-0 win away from home. We got a couple of yellow cards to our defenders, each of them lucky to stay on the field.
Yeah, well, I think that's opportunity lost there, right? I mean, in terms of getting something out of that game.
We won the Manchester United away from home. We won that 1-0 at Alba with Alba's penalty.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of the the next one. Okay, yeah. I mean, we were lucky to get the point, but I think a lot of that has to do with the way that our coach was, how our manager was setting up the team. I mean, that's been our problem all season. No truer sense than that game where we, this is a team we could have gotten a win from, right? I mean, every game that we played, we played these teams. They beat us. The next game they got, because I think that was the time when Liverpool and Leicester City both got blown out in games right after playing us, right? So it was kind of disappointing to see that we lost to these teams, and in the next game or the next game after that, they're getting blown out by 4 and 5 goals, right? So
yeah,
disappointing.
God, how many center backs are we going to be linked to this summer?
that's for another podcast. We're
I
reviewing
just pulled up to look at our schedule to see what
Tony,
games.
Tony,
I
focus.
See Arsenal, Kunda.
We're reviewing the season here. This is called Hindsight is 2021. We're looking back.
Bringing up the fixtures and it came up, asshole.
We're not looking forward. Right, you're going to be a timeout. One of these days.
You get a yellow card. There's no warning.
No. I'm loving this banter. Every time Ray says something that seems sarcastic, it's like, hey, whoa, asshole.
All right, so Tony, I'll bring you in.
I'm enjoying the banter.
Aston Villa at home, we lose 3-0. Dower, that was probably one of our worst performances of the season. Yes. Losing at home to Aston Villa, just nothing. Ollie Watkins shows up, embarrasses us at the end of the game to seal the 3-0. We were all at sea at the back there.
Trying to give a
anything, Tony? Tony, give me something. They say, Gary, don't work with animals or kids in the movies.
Why?
I don't know, because this kind of stuff can happen. The gremlins. Tony, you there? I can't hear you.
Your volume's off, Holmes.
Can't hear you, Tony.
I think his volume was off.
Oh my God. Not here. I gotta move on to you. Hey, Aston Villa. We lose to Aston Villa 3-0 at home. This is probably one of our worst results of the season, I hear.
Embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Because we should not allow no disrespect to any of the smaller teams. I love saying that. Because by all means, they show more passion and show more heart. That's why they go into these games and say, hey, we have a chance. And guess what? They pull a result out against a bunch of bottlers who do not want to. Some of them don't even really want to be at this club. They're like, oh, no, you know what? I could have signed for Atletico only because Atletico was. I'm not saying Lacazette did this. I'm just saying, hypothetically, like, I could have gone to this club and then I chose you guys because. Nah, man. It's just embarrassing.
What flavor is your lollipop?
Now the whole thing just came off. It is cherry, actually.
That's more important than what the hell's going on with our team.
Sure.
The flavor of the lollipop, man.
Hey, we're looking back today, Gary, and it's a welcome distraction.
I think
Tony,
Sam would be wicked.
Tony, Arsenio here says, and he's right, the majority of the games we lost, we deserved to lose. There was very few of them. We might have gotten a draw here and there, but I don't know where you're making these 20 points up. I'm making 6 up, and I'm being realistically optimistic. We lose to Aston Villa at home, Tony.
Look at the teams we lost to. Should we be losing to those teams?
No, but that's facts. We lost Aston Villa. There was no way we were getting a draw.
How many points we said I had? I said 15 to 20.
Okay.
Rock and roll with it, right?
Leeds. We go to Leeds. Tony, I'll stay with you. We go to Leeds the next game. This is infamous for Pepe's indiscipline. And the point that I've given us getting against Leicester, I'm taking away here because Leeds hit the post 5 times in that game. We should have lost that game by all. We should have been dead to rights. So we're back to 0 here in my reckoning. We got away with a 0-0 draw. We were lucky to get to 0-0. We're lucky to get a point.
He doesn't believe you.
I don't believe you, Ray.
You go back and look at that game.
It's
I mean, you're right that many a game, because if you add up the points we should have gotten, points we probably shouldn't have gotten, they probably do. It is a wash on some of these points that we're supposed to get. But you know what? If we got 5 or 6 more points than we got this season, we'd be in a different situation, right? So it's not, we didn't have to be perfect, but we definitely had to do a little bit better for a couple of games, and games that we're supposed to win, like Burnley, regardless of whether they, we play, the league tells you where you are. I get it, but
Doesn't lie.
you can't say that we shouldn't have been better than that, right? I don't think anybody's saying, you know what, we are. That is the kind of team that we have. That is not. I don't believe that's true. I believe we were coached bad. I believe the players are bad, and that's mentally and physically, But I feel like there's definitely 5 or 6 points out there that we should.
Ray wants to mention it all the time. What were we in the form table from Christmas to the end of the season?
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're in the second chapter.
This
And everyone knows Empire Strikes Back.
So if we sacked Arteta like Fat Frank, we could have won the Champions League and been in the top 4.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, I have a problem with comparing Arsenal to Chelsea because Arsenal are just not going to roll like Chelsea or Manchester City. I think it's a fairer comparison to compare us to Liverpool or Manchester United.
Both them teams are top 5 in net spend, and that's with Liverpool getting a fortune for Coutinho.
Arsenio said our performance overall this season has been a disgrace. Players looked lethargic and incompetent at times. Exactly right. I actually wondered if they were
because they're
behind.
getting micromanaged. Danny, Gabby. Telling them what to do.
We can't just blame the players, right? We can't just blame the players. I mean, the manager has something to do with that. Getting them ready for the game. When they get out in the field, it's up to them, right? But definitely, everybody's involved in this. Everybody's involved in it. The players, the coach, the manager, the owner. It just all trickles down. We always say that, right? So players on the field, do they have the heart to go out there and play and overcome all the things that are in front of them? They don't. We don't have those types of players, right?
Yeah.
When you think about this, if you look at Martinelli when he goes out there, no matter what the manager's asking him to do, he gives 110% when he's doing it, right?
Nice,
right, and that's what we don't see, right, from a lot of the players. I mean, I even saw it at the end of the season when we brought Saka on. He didn't start the match, but he came on, and he was doing. He looked just like Martinelli in the sense that he was all over the place, just trying to make a play, trying to make something happen. And you don't see that from our older players. They don't show any of that, any of that fire, and that's partly on the players, but also on the manager. And we're going to say it over and over and over again. Why are they playing? Why are they playing? Why do they continue to play? They don't want to be out there. They're not doing what you're asking anyway. So why do you keep playing them?
Yeah. Gary, so we continue. Leeds. So we're at a wash here. We should have gained the point against Leicester. Didn't deserve that point away to Leeds. We lose another hopeless game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. We're outplayed. Willian has an assist for Gabriel to score the goal, but it was really a consolation goal at the time. And then Tottenham are winning the league at this point in the season, Gary. They're going to win the league, and we actually have to go to Tottenham. And very disappointing performance with Hector Bellerin and Rob Holding being shown up, I would say, for those 2 goals. So we played right into their arms.
So tell me, I thought the first Wolves game is the one where we got the red card, and the second Wolves game is where
Wolves game was the red card.
So and the first Wolves game, is that the one with
at home
head injury?
Yeah, that was the Jimenez head injury with David Luiz.
I'm getting those 2 mixed up then, because all right, so that first Wolves game, yes, we kind of like shut it down, right? When like they're one of their better player or their best player basically gets injured and is out of the game, and we sit back and go, you know what? We're just going to take it easy on them. There's blood in the
Yeah.
water, fellas. Attack, right? Their best player is out. We need to get something out of this. That you do that, right? No, we don't do that. We keep Louise on the field. That guy can't see straight. He sees 3 balls, 25 people on the field. There's no way he's right.
Then he misses 2 or 3 games after that.
Yeah, and then he's like, he's doing free kicks, and you're like, what the world is going on? Who's coaching these guys? Who's managing the health of his players, right? And you're like, okay, this is not good, right? As soon as the 2 heads cracked, you heard the commentator say, they heard it. The players heard it. Some of them don't look right. Like, wow, what's going on? But we're still playing our player. Theirs is getting stretched off.
Yeah.
How
Concussion.
How stupid is that?
Yeah.
What? And I don't. I'm speechless on that one because,
Well, by here it continues on into the next game against Tottenham, losing 2-0 down, and Partey gets injured in the build-up to the second goal. My here, and
well fucking done. Well fucking done. The guys. This guy's got an injury, and you rush him in. And guess what happens? Dum-dums. What a bunch of dums. When it comes to man management, we've said it 1,000 times before, but we'll say it one more time. What a bunch of dum-dums. Because he gets injured, gets rushed in, gets injured again. He's out for a period, gets rushed in again. Later on in the season, gets injured again. I mean...
and we can only hope with Partey that, he's had the installation season. He's settled in now with this season. Part 3 here, things are going to look a lot better as we get into part 3.
They're making some good points in the chats, right? We can spend all this money on all our players, but we can't spend it on other parts of the team, right? Right? Yeah, I mean that, right? I mean, the team is. You see the team, it makes you smile because you want to see them do well, right? So as soon as the games start, all that other crap goes out the window. Nobody cares about Kroenke. Nobody cares about the transfers in, the transfers out. Nobody cares about the red card anymore. Nobody cares about the armband on the ground. They don't. We don't care about it. We don't. We care about the team on the field, and we want them to get the win. All right. So that's the thing about the games that if for 90 minutes we don't care about what's going on in the world, in the world of sport, right? Yeah. We care about what's happening in those 90 minutes on the pitch. We want to see something good.
Analysis.
Tony.
Yeah.
So Tony, we see an amateur. Well, I'm going to say it, an amateur manager. It doesn't look good. The optics of pushing Partey back onto the field looks really bad, actually. You would not see an experienced manager doing that. But it was the desperation we were in at that point in time. I think at that point in time, Tony, we pumped so many crosses into the box against Tottenham, but it was the wrong kind of delivery to the box that our forwards could not deal with.
Yeah, I just remember all those balls. They were going to the right places, but there's just nobody ever there.
Mm-hmm. As Arsenio said, can't even watch the games these days. It makes his mood worse. That was unimaginable during Wenger's days. As bad as Wenger got, we were still good going forward. And Gary, you all will attest to we were doing what seemed more like therapy podcasts in those days, leading up through October, November, and December.
Every Monday was therapy day. Everybody, the doctors hours started as soon as you opened your eyes. If you opened your eyes, it didn't matter. Just go to YouTube. Somebody was there to kind of talk you down, talk you off the ledge. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. This is just a blip, right? We did it. We did it for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
To 8 therapists: Dr. Gary, Dr. Ray, Dr. Turner, and Dr. Abrams. Yours truly.
Yeah.
At this point in our season,
Dr. Stan, Sam. Oh, God,
at this point in our season,
also think about it. So this is 2 games and back-to-back games. 2 games. 2 of our most important players, some would say, both with health issues, both being let down by the management and the coaching staff. 2 games in back-to-back games now.
Back
Right? Back-to-back games. So they didn't learn anything from Louise, and they threw Partey in there. He's not 100%. Mentally, he's definitely not in there, because if a player is going to walk off the pitch in what is considered one of the biggest games of the season, he's not meant. He doesn't even know. He doesn't understand what he's doing in terms of how important this game is. Right?
Yeah.
No, you don't walk off the pitch in a North London derby ever, unless you're told to get off by the official because you got a red card. That's the only time, right? You don't just
Speaking
walk
of
off the
red
pitch.
cards.
So mentally, if he's doing that, you killed that player, right? Because that's not the player we bought, right? So something bad has happened, right? Is that
Speaking of-
Arteta? Is that Arsenal? Whatever it is, something is just that nothing right about. He wasn't even supposed to play. He was going to be out until January. Remember?
Yeah. Yep.
He's going to be out until January. Next thing you know, he's playing a week later or something ridiculous like that.
Tony, Gary mentioned red cards. Funny you should say that, Gary. Tony, we go to Burnley, and Burnley is just a team that Granit Xhaka should not be. If he's with us next season, he shouldn't be with us. But he should not play against Burnley. It's just not a good team for him to play against.
Yeah, lots of sending offs, lots of everythings. But the whole goes back to the whole point. He should have been sold to Hertha Berlin for 40 million euros. Now we're to be lucky to get 15 to 20 million pounds for him.
Yeah.
And I'm about to let you guys go for a second. It's starting to rain, so I'm about to retreat it to inside.
All right. Do that. Get indoors. Get away from the chainsaw. Your neighbor and the chainsaw. Matt, we'll see you in a minute. Mahir, Granit Xhaka sent off. So where it's a wash throughout the season. I think this is indiscipline here through Granit Xhaka, and I think we should have been good enough here to get a draw. I'm going to give us another point that we should have got a draw in this game. Aubameyang's own goal being the difference between the sides in the end. But with Granit Xhaka going down, we're going down to 10 men. We lost that game partly because of Granit Xhaka.
So can somebody explain? The world's best midfielder, or one of the best, is in Chelsea, and we have got this absolute piece of shit. Mind my language. Pardon my French. Guys, you know when the whole incident happened, with him throwing the captain's armband and telling us all to fuck off, all that, we should have known then already. I could see it way before then. I could see it way before that. Some sort of discipline, some major discipline issue is gonna happen, and he told us to fuck off, and we were still like, he still begged, like we said, could have gotten sold, like Tony said, could have gotten sold for 30 to 40, could have got swapped with another player from same squad that he came from, with the name of Zachariah, quality midfielder, who we're still being linked to, by the way. Yeah, man, what can I say? This is bound to happen. It was destiny that all that indiscipline, all the small issues was gonna turn into a big issue. Yeah. We saw it with him telling us to fuck off, like I said, guys. And Arteta still begged Xhaka to stay, and he stayed. And this is what you get down the line.
Here we are. Here we are.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I could say something. You had put up Stan's quote, comment there about, who at Arsenal can sell Arsenal to anyone? Who's going to do that? Josh, be excited. Stan, you can't hear him because he's not talking.
It seems.
What board member other than the two that I just talked about can sell Arsenal to an incoming manager, director of football? Who's doing that?
You know who they give that job to, Gary? They actually give it to Arteta. He's the person.
Yeah, he can't do everything. So you keep everybody in one breath. You're telling me he's the project, so he's the one that's we're supposed to be building. We're supposed to build he's supposed to be in the future a really big manager, coach, right? 5 years from now, everybody would probably be scrambling for him. Guess what?
He's the guy who they're handing the phone to.
But 5 years from now, he probably won't be at Arsenal, and he may be that manager that we wanted, right? 5 years from now, because he would have experienced everything he could here with no consequences, right? Going forward, he won't have to deal with as much because that team will probably be more sorted out and have a better situation. So, nobody's selling. You're not selling like, and it's not even now that I'm scrambling here, but it's not even that now we need somebody to replace Arteta, the coach, right? But we need everything else around him, above him, to be improved, right?
Yeah.
At the least, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to go with Arteta, make sure everything around him is better.
Put into place.
Right? He doesn't need to be a manager. He doesn't. You can spend money on somebody who can do some of that type of that work, right? Offload the work so he can work on the team, right?
Yeah.
This
absolutely.
isn't, this. I mean, this is Arsenal. It's a big team, and you're going to do it with less people, right? Look at any other team that's out there that's successful. Are they actually reducing their staff and doing it with a lot less and succeeding? Nobody's doing that because you can't. You can't. Arteta cannot be taking the phone call, meanwhile screaming at Danny. He can't do both, right?
Yeah,
and then he's supposed to coach these players up. Then he's supposed to manage the players. Like Saliba, he probably forgot that he had Saliba on the team, and that's why Saliba was never mentioned in terms of being put on a list to play in the Premier League or in the Europa League. I mean, that's what you get when you spread somebody thin, right? He probably didn't even know he had Saliba because he's got too many things to work on, too many things, and then we see it in all these games, right? We're not prepared to play any of these teams. It doesn't, and I don't. For me, it doesn't. It's not even the fact that he could put 11 players out there, but if he gives them something to do, and he gives them the right thing to do, and he gets the best out of them, then we're going to see better performances. But he puts them out there, asks them to do things they can't do, over and over and over again.
Yeah. Let's round out this section here. We want to keep on track. We want to get to the good stuff next. Right here, we finish out this poor section with Saka. Bukayo Saka is carrying the team here at this point. Our senior players are not doing it for us. But Saka actually sets up a goal for Aubameyang. We get a dour draw at home to Southampton. Theo Walcott has come back and taken a goal against us here. I actually got a player sent off as well. I think it was Gabriel gets sent off that game. Go to Everton away from home. Holding is the captain for the first time. I don't know how Holding could be, but he has been captain since. We lose 2-1 to Everton. Pepe getting a penalty. And then a 4-1 loss at home to Manchester City in the League Cup, where Runnerson is hung out to dry, our backup goalkeeper. He's just shouldn't be in that position. They throw him in there. We basically sacrifice one of our routes to a trophy. The Carabao Cup is gone as well.
But in that note, every game played with heart and fight. You don't want to go down like that to a Man City. Yes, they're the better team, much better, world-class team. But you don't go down to any team. Like, we drew at Southampton, and before that we lost to Burnley. Like, who does that? A club of our pressure. Who does that? They're saying Arteta out. Now this club makes me so frustrated, for fuck's sakes. Exactly, Dave. Exactly. We all lost for words when it comes to things like this because we should not be losing against these smaller clubs. Right, guys?
Yeah. And I'm probably gonna ask everybody in about 5 minutes when we get to this point. Are we turning the corner when we get to part 3 of this saga here? I want you to tell me that in 5 minutes, not right now. Think about it. Think about your answer, Gary. Have we turned the corner?
I don't think about anything.
Tony, I'll bring you in, Tony. As long as you're polite and nice to the host, I'll bring you in. And don't cuss me out anymore.
Ray, you probably deserve it. So, you probably deserve it.
Gary, at least I'm realistically optimistic here.
I'm
you got the 2 words together. Yeah, you
Tony, we start out of the blocks. First, part 1, 3 wins out of 4. This section here, 8 losses in 11 games. Combined, we've got 14 points from 14 games. We've only won 4, drawn 2, and we've lost 8. 8 of those losses have come in this stretch here.
Not good enough.
Obviously not good enough. Nope.
And what would happen if fans were in the stands? He would have been sacked like Fat Frank was.
We were laying down in 15, 16th place. Tony, people were talking about the R word, relegation.
Yeah, they should have been talking about the F word, fired, sacked.
Yeah. Gary, dark times.
Yes. Yep. Those were, like you said, those were therapy days. He just we knew what was going to happen, right? An hour and a half before the match, we're going to look at the lineup. Go. What the hell? What's going on here? How did he figure? What?
That was Order 66.
Every time we look,
was Order 66.
Yeah, it's like you look at that. I mean, we come to find out later what there's a wheel of fortune that is picking the team for us, right? Which we find out later. But you look at it every 90 minutes before the game, you knew what you're gonna be. I always say surprised, but in most cases we were disappointed every time we looked at the lineup because we knew somebody who failed the previous week was probably going to play. Somebody who hasn't played in months and probably doesn't deserve to play is going to play. Or you know what, they're going to be out of position. All of that. So every time we looked at the lineup, that's what we saw. And then we saw a result and we're like, damn, well, you know what? I'm surprised we even played as good as we did, and we only lost by that much, right? So,
Maher, are you there? And Stefan, I agree with you. Arsenal were never going to get relegated. Actually, I had to go and fight it out with some Manchester United supporters and tell them technically we've been relegated, but we've never been relegated. There's a whole history between Tottenham and Arsenal way back in 1913. Go check it out if you don't know about it. We might actually do a podcast about it. But we were never going to get relegated. But we were in a situation. We were going to be playing Chelsea pretty soon. And it was a situation where we could have gotten drugged down deeper into that relegation fight. So anything else really just to finish out section 2, Maher?
Nah, fam.
It was bad times. And, Gary, looking back at it, it's bringing back all of the bad memories of them just losing game after game.
Well, the one thing also that if everybody remembers is we were enjoying Thursdays. That was the only thing that got us through those dark times, right? Yeah. Thursday would come and we're like, you know what? We're going to get to see the young players play. Hope we won't get to see many of the senior players play, even though they still got to play, right? Yeah. Right. They still got to play, but we got to see a lot more of the youth. And they were actually out there having some fun playing some football, right?
Oh, of course.
So Thursdays were like that. So you had the therapy on Monday, and then on Thursday you got all your fun out, and then on Saturday or Sunday you're in pain again, and then Monday you do. So like it was that was a cycle, right? From Thursday to Monday, you went from the highs to the lows, and then recovery, and then you got ready to do it all over again on Thursday again.
Yeah. And Gary, good times in the Europa League. We played Dundalk, Mold, and Rapid Vienna. And, we saw Balogun coming forward. He scored a goal or two for us in those games, one against Mold and one against Dundalk. Willock can score for us.
Yep. All these players that can't do anything for us were doing it, right? All these players that hadn't played for most of the Premier League season at that point we're doing it. It didn't. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they were playing, but they were out there doing exactly what the manager want them to do because they weren't doing it in the Premier League, right? They weren't even. And in most cases, they weren't even trying.
Well, Tony, let's have your view on it. Jump in, Tony.
Like Gary said, those players were doing what they're asked to do.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't getting played in the league. I still don't know why. Smith Rowe didn't get in there until injuries.
Yeah. And we
were whatever Arteta, like I said, I think he's a pedophile. He can't touch young players. I think that's the rule. I don't. Just
All right,
for some
Tony.
reason he won't play him.
All right, just don't use that word. That would be one of the banned words here on this channel. But anyway, throw me off now. Europa League, we went through. Jump in, Tony. Yeah, I asked for a stand, didn't I?
It's like, got it. That's when the producers in the headphone going.
Yeah,
I'm
hearing something.
Shut his mic off. Shut his
I'm
mic
hearing
off.
something. I'm hearing something. The standard, Gary. What we were missing really was a creative influence in our league.
Absolutely.
League games, Gary.
Yeah, we were seeing it right on Thursdays. On Thursday, we were like, "Oh, this is what football looks like." Maybe is this Arteta ball, right? We were all saying it. Is this Arteta ball, right? You see, like the youngsters out there playing. You're like, yes, youth out there actually running around playing football. Woo! All is good.
And
Football is good on
themselves,
Thursdays.
bowling, man. Good times.
As Sam said, we won the San Marino Invitational tournament. But yeah, we were lacking creativity, Tony, and Arteta how did this come about, Tony? Emile Smith-Rowe comes into the side, Saka's moved to the right. It can all be by accident, but it started to work.
It's all by injuries. It wasn't by choice. For whatever reason, I guess Smith-Rowe wasn't doing enough in training. Like with the rest of the players, it's all about training to Arteta. But in this, it happened down to injuries. It's when Aubameyang first missed some games and other players were missing. It wasn't his choice, put it that way.
Yep.
Right, but it happened, Mahir, and it worked.
Weren't we crying out for it weeks previously? We were. Gary? We were, right?
We were seeing, like every fan, Mahir, we were seeing what was happening in the Europa League. The young players were stepping forward. Pepe was scoring. He was a big influence in the Europa League games. Despite the standard, we could see that they could step forward in the league.
Exactly. It just proves to you once again why Arteta isn't the man. One of these days, I'm going to release a video for our channel right here. 5 big reasons, with yours truly, why Arteta should be sacked immediately with immediate effect from me. Let me phone him. Let me phone him and get rid of him right now. Thanks, guys.
Gary, it all started with the Chelsea game at home.
Yep. And at that point, everybody had pretty much. I think we were saying, you know what? Depending on how this game goes, Arteta should be gone by the new year, right? I mean, I don't know, and I think he got lucky. I mean, initially I was going to say he threw up a coin, and it fell a certain way, but his hands were forced, right? His hands were forced. He wasn't. It wasn't part of. I don't think it was part of his plan. We're lucky that he probably mismanaged his players, and they just couldn't hold up under the pressure, right? Physically, and so he had to go to his bench and he had to go to his youth.
We've since heard the story that he told Emile Smith-Rowe he's getting the start the night before the Chelsea game.
Yeah, and so no time to really prep for it, right? They go through the whole prep for this match, and next thing you know, guess what? You're playing tomorrow, right? So no time to think about it, and he got lucky, right? If you're sitting back and you're looking at the team that you own, and you see all this stuff happen, and you're like, well, you see us come out and play Chelsea and win. You're like, wait a second, what? How did we lose 8 games prior to this? Yeah, how do we do that?
I know.
How do we lose those games? 8 games. We lost 8 games at that point. Next thing we know, we're beating Chelsea, a team that, many have said, you know what? They have the talent to be a top 4 team easy. They're struggling right now, but they have the talent to be there. And we go out there and we win 3-1.
Yeah.
It looked close if you watched the whole game, but
Oh
3-1
yeah, it
score
got
is
close at the end.
the 3-1 win is pretty solid, right? When you look at it
Yep.
on paper. So yeah,
Got close in the end. Mahir, we got a break maybe if we're looking for a break from VAR, we got it against Chelsea. We got that penalty. Lacazette scores. We were in Wonderland and we cashed in all of our lucky chips because Granit Xhaka scores a free kick, something that never happens, and then Saka, whether it's meant or not, I think it's cross and that goes in. We're 3-0 up. But we showed the tendency to wobble right at the end. We lost a goal. We could have actually lost another goal. But we hung on for a 3-1 win, which is vital for us in the context of the whole season.
It just shows you. It just shows you when you listen to people exactly what happens. You know, if only, the funny thing is, we beat Chelsea 3-1, right? I know it was close in the end, but what happens in the exact match after that?
The Brighton game.
I'm looking at the fixtures in my hand and the results. We pull in Arsenal directly after beating Chelsea. Come on, guys. This con, this
We
you
beat
know,
Brighton.
this is.
What are you saying? We beat Brighton.
No, we didn't beat Brighton. What is it saying? Oh, sorry, we beat Brighton. I was wrong. I thought I was reading that thing wrong. I thought it was
Oh,
saying
this
Brighton
is the
won,
good part,
Arsenal
Mahir.
draw.
We start winning games here.
Against the worst teams in the league, we
Oh,
start winning.
sometimes I get so lost
You're
because
stuck
the
in
way
part
it
two.
shows to me, it's Brighton, Arsenal, and then a 0 and a 1. So I don't know how I looked at that and said, "Yo, we lost to Brighton."
No,
Another game.
That's when
it's
we
a-
start beating the worst teams in the league, my here.
a good time
Oh,
to
okay.
come to Tony because his boy Lacazette starts scoring goals. Lacazette's key in the Chelsea win, and he comes on in the Brighton game and scores a vital goal for us. Return of the Jedi here. I'm calling that Emile Smith Rowe. Things are starting to coincide with him coming into the team. Saka sets the goal up for Lacazette. He fits that into the bottom right-hand corner away to Brighton, Tony.
Yeah, we figured out Saka, Laka, and Smith Rowe worked. We tried it for 3 or 4 games, then we went away from it.
Well, the 3 or 4 games were good for a win against West Brom.
Yep, the worst
Well,
teams in the league.
Yeah, but you still got to go out and get it. Going away to Brighton was not easy for other teams as well. We won away from home at Brighton, not one that wasn't easy to get. 1-0 win. Beating West Brom. Sam Allardyce always made it difficult for us. We were able to later in the season send them down. We actually relegated West Brom and Fat Sam. There's a couple of fat people in this season's story. Jabba the Hutt, Lampard. Jabba the Hutt, Allardyce. And then Newcastle, Mayer, Emile Smith Rowe steps forward in the cup win, 2-0 against Newcastle. We go into extra time, but Emile Smith Rowe wins the game for us. And what looked to me like a very like Paul Merson finish. 3-0 at home to Newcastle. Newcastle, a team we always seem to beat, Maher. So January was very good for us. I think Gary at the time was done with Arteta. I was giving him to the end of January to see how he would come good, and it started to turn. If we'd have continued into the end of January losing games, Arteta's position would have been
That's who Arteta is.
I mean, it definitely was the Chelsea. What is that?
Ray know who it is.
I don't actually.
You don't know Lando Calrissian when you see him.
Lando, yeah.
Okay, it looks a little different. I don't know.
He looks like Disco Lando.
I was gonna say that's Elvis, but I was
Yeah.
like, that's a weird looking Elvis. It's
more disco.
Not enough powder blue on there. No, what I was gonna say is Arteta's lucky he won the Chelsea match.
Yep.
I mean, he's lucky he won that because that I think that carried him through all the other
Mhm.
pains that we went
I
through.
still don't
after.
think we would have sacked him.
No, I'm just saying though, it would have been painful
If
to
we
go through
kept
that because
losing.
you would have lost that game. Who knows if we would have been able to
Mhm.
if we didn't have the injuries that brought in the youth, because that's kind of where things changed, right? And if we
Yep.
would have lost the Chelsea match, that probably would have meant Emile Rowe it wouldn't have played, right? Aubameyang would have played probably, right?
Yep.
I don't think
Yep.
Aubameyang played in that game. So, I mean, it's telling that a lot of games that he didn't play and we actually looked okay in, right? So,
Mhm.
right, that's crazy,
Yeah.
right? So some of the games he didn't play in were, I don't know how often that happened, but when we had some of our big games when he wasn't there, all right.
As PG Nuts here, Richard Garlick, could they not at least jazz up his name? We're not going to mention it, but on a previous podcast, we did have fun with his name, PG Nuts. So,
Yeah.
and
Well, you
it's
know
pretty
what?
much
With a name like that, he's going to have to be really good because
Yeah.
there's going to be too many memes out there, meme possibilities out there if he screws up, right? So.
Neil Smith Rowe and Saka are very good Padawans, Maher. They came into our team, transformed our season. Emile Smith Rowe, creative influence. The way he's able to carry the ball and play off of other players was transformative. And at the time, Saka moving to the right wing was indeed very good for us as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean that's
I was gonna say you've got Anakin who's out there killing all the Padawans. So with
Jabba Allardyce.
that's also Arteta. He let a couple slip through, right? He let a couple slip through, but then he killed all the rest of them, right?
Yeah, yes, the good young players. There's Ewan McGregor. Okay, I'm dialed into you now, Tony. I know where you're going with this thing.
Yeah.
Mikel Mozzarella, Jedi Knight Mikel Mozzarella. Yeah, so January was a good month for us, Tony. We go through January. We aside from Southampton, we sacrificed the FA Cup away to Southampton in lieu of getting a win 3 days later at Southampton in the league.
Should have went for both of them.
Yep. True. I mean, but Arteta at the time, Gary, felt we could not sustain these triple campaigns throughout the season.
Yeah, but like looking at that, I'm looking at that lineup. He just, I mean, what?
The cup team was designed not to go forward. I truly
Definitely
believe that.
You put little sprinkles of quality there, and you just like splattered like just mess after mess after mess around it, right? I mean, Willian, El Nene,
It was horrible.
It
was horrible.
I mean, just and Granite, right?
I personally drive Granite to Luton and buy him an EasyJet ticket to Rome. Definitely. Mahir, we finish out January with a draw against Manchester United. United had the better chances. Probably should have won the game, but I'm just sort of keeping it at the draw there. We didn't gain anything. We didn't lose anything. So up until now, I have us as +1 point on the season.
+1 extra.
+1, is that
+1
right?
extra, yeah.
You don't think we're gonna get okay? Maybe I missed where you thought we were lucky to get a point.
End of January. We gained the point. We should have gained the draw against Leicester at home. We should not have drawn with Leeds, so that's a wash. And we should have drawn with Burnley, whereas Xhaka was sent off.
So you don't think against Wolves we couldn't have got a draw out of that?
Yeah, we're not there yet though. That'll be into February.
No, the first Wolves. You think
That was
both Wolves
3-0.
games we were out of it? You think both of them?
We lost 2-1. We lost 2-1.
We lost 2-1 in both
home.
of them. We had opportunities to win in both. I mean, I don't. That the number doesn't make any. The logic doesn't make any sense because we lost 2-1 and we should have won that one 3-1, right? So
we were inept at home.
We should have beat Leeds. We should have beat Wolves.
No, he's talking.
No,
He's
no.
going on
beat
both
Burnley.
sides. He's going both ways.
We should have beat
Tony.
Southampton. We should have beat
Burnley.
Everton.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Ray. There's all kinds of points there.
Well, let's move on. Listen, what
You
I'm
see
going to
one
ask
freaking
people
point.
to do. What I'm going to ask people to do is drop it in the comments. We're going to continue this discussion in the comments. Let's finish out the season here. We got about 25 minutes to go here. We want to get through everything. As Stan said, I just don't understand the anger online at the prospect of selling Xhaka and comparing him to Vieira using exactly. Stan, we got to move 6 or 7 players on, and we were saying in the green room, we've got to move our worst 6 players and get better and upgrade that way. You know,
Yeah, we should have sold him 16 months ago and got 40
and you know what?
million euros for him.
Vieira's red cards are probably always for grabbing somebody's neck. Right? I mean,
and I'm not advocating violence, Gary, but that's what we need in the team.
Throwing down the armband, right? I mean, all that stuff is what, that's kind of what Vieira was doing, right? No, it's not the same player. It's not even the same quality.
Not the same analogy, even.
You'll take a red card from Vieira because he's probably doing that to save a goal or something ridiculous like that, right? As opposed to just, you know what? I'm upset
Grabbing
with you. I'm gonna
somebody's
grab your
throat
neck.
for shits and giggles.
Guys, in the previous time he did it, he told us to fuck off. Even the people that are supporting him right there at the game. Imagine it was one of your kids. Imagine it was one of your sons, right? Or it was your nephew or your niece even supporting this team and saying, come on, Granit Xhaka, we believe in you. And Granit Xhaka turning around and telling your niece and them who love this guy have got nothing. Yeah, exactly. Darth Maul. Not even Darth Vader.
Who's Darth Maul in this Arsenal world? Yeah, throw your suggestions in there. All right, so Gary, we do get now to the beginning of February. It's Wolves. I don't think we would have gotten anything out of the home game. This one was a punch to the stomach. It just took all the wind out of us.
This was like 44 minutes of like, okay, if this is Arteta ball, I like it. I want more of this. I'm disappointed we did not score 3 goals, right? 44 minutes. This is what everybody's, at least that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. Watching the match, I'm like, you know what? 44 minutes of this. We can get 90 minutes of this, 70 minutes of this. We're going to be okay. All right. 44 minutes. Guess what? That was it. That's the last time we saw something like that. I felt we never got that back. I don't understand why. If you're Arteta, you look at the tape, you take the first. What the hell is this?
Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm
this
sorry.
This was not planned, people. This was not planned or choreographed.
Yeah, he did not say he had these little guys coming out. That doesn't even sound right, does it? No, it doesn't even sound
friends.
Right. His little guys coming out.
Tony's puppets.
No, seriously. But those 44 minutes of that match, I mean, we're all like, okay, if this is what Arteta ball is, I want some of that. I want more of this.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Oh, there we go. Is that Baby Yoda?
No. Yeah.
This is the regular Yoda.
That's grown-up Yoda. That's who Smith Rowe was.
The best part of Yoda is when he opens up, when he pulls back his cloak and then he gets the lifesaver to come in his hand, and you're like, somebody's about to go down now.
Yeah. He means business. So Gary, we don't concede that penalty against Wolves, and we win at halftime 1-0 up. We don't have the sending up. Okay, I'll get into that.
No, this is that game, right? So 44 minutes, you're looking at it, you're like, yes, this team, this is the type of team that we want, right? These are the type of players that we want, right? This game, they should have never even been in this game. But guess what? We let them in. VAR let them in. And then guess what they did? They said, you know what? We're just going to take it from you, right? That's what they did. They took it from us, right? We were supposed to. They're supposed to still be gasping for air because our foot is still on their neck, right?
Yeah.
But no, we let them back in, and then we didn't punish them. We didn't punish them early, and then we got punished late, And then
I've got us I've got us down for a point in this game because we don't concede that penalty. Maybe they score in the second half. We didn't
No
take our
way.
chances.
That's 3 points for us.
It's 3
You
points
are
dropped.
no.
Lane.
You're now. See that. That's what the kind of team you want, right? You want a team that can't score the 3 goals to take to get the 3 points.
Okay.
Right. That's you're making us weak, right? And that is the problem because that's the realism in this whole thing is that is the truth that we probably wouldn't, even if we would have played 11-11, we probably wouldn't have got all the points. We might have been up 3 and give them all back, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the heart. But I
That
don't
would
think that's
be-
what you're saying.
That would be later in the season against West Ham. I do not know what to make of that game, so that's a wash. I just left that alone in terms of my analysis. But yeah, I would advocate a point. You're both advocating 3 points we should have gotten there. The next one, Tony, Aston Villa away from home. This is a bad time here. A game, I think we should not have lost this game. It comes down to Cedric laying the ball softly, and the player nips in. Forget who it was. Ollie Watkins has separation from holding, which is a cardinal mistake. And Matt Ryan, his first game, no fault of his own, he takes a loss in this one.
Yeah. Holding couldn't chase down a sloth if he had to.
Yeah.
That's why you really have to watch who he's paired with on the right side. You have to watch who the
Tony,
right back is.
With that happening, I think that should not have happened. We get out of there with a 0-0 draw. It's a terrible game. We get a point. What do you think, Tony?
I'm trying to remember the first half of it.
It was pretty dour. We didn't, like many games, we didn't have a shot and goal. I think there was a shout for a red card 35 yards from goal because Saka was breaking free and taken down, but that would have been a hard one to sell. But yeah, we didn't have that much that game. Gary, you remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm trying to look at the stats to see about that game and see, but that goal basically, punished. We felt punished for the rest of the match, and this is the second. I know Holding had nothing to do with the 2 goals in those back-to-back games, but he was right there with an opportunity to actually do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Leno makes saves all the time. It's not his fault that they're getting clean looks at his goal, right? But he does make the saves, right? So he does actually overcome the deficiencies in front of him. Holding, this is the second game in a row. He's sitting there with an opportunity to actually make a good play, and he doesn't. He hesitates, and we pay for it, right? Back-to-back games. If he comes out when your partner leaves you, then you have to make sure that you have to protect your goal. And he never did that. He acted as if he had a lot of support around him, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my concern. My concerns with him there is that yes, it wasn't his fault, but he could have made a difference in that in the blips that happened around him, and he never did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Gary, do you see us getting anything out of that game? I've got a point for us getting a draw.
Yeah, I think a point would probably be about right because
fair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have a hat trick against Leeds. It was a crazy game in of itself. Aubameyang comes back, scores 3. Hector Bellerin pops up and actually scores a goal. Probably one of the shock highlights of the season. A surprise for us. And but we stutter again. Our defensive deficiencies come in. We can't keep a lead. They get 2 goals back pretty quickly. Makes us nervous. Benfica 1-1 draw. Saka is again leading the way. Mahir. City. We pretty much put the white flag up against City at home. Holding again, letting Raheem Sterling score from a header. Then we come into a marquee game here, Benfica, and Tierney drags us forward. He scores that sort of FU goal right at the end to get us through, with Aubameyang scoring, I think, as well to get us past Benfica. We all remember that. We were going to go out at maybe the last 32 stage in the Europa League. Following up on that, Mahir, we go to Leicester City, go a goal down in true Arsenal fashion. The sea sort of parts for I forget who was scored at the time, but it was terrible. Tielemans, that's right. But we come back, play really well, get the win we deserve, and then we get to the next game. Here I want to highlight is I think we dropped 2 points here at Burnley. Here,
There
Granit
we go.
Xhaka, Burn Leno, Granit Xhaka. Who do you think?
Granit Xhaka.
He should be able to execute that ball and get it over the Chris Wood player.
No, seriously. Who does that? Why would you put your keeper under pressure, not have positional awareness? Miss Melina, hi.
He had 3 different people he could have passed it to there, or just kicked it
There we
straight
go.
out of bounds.
Yeah.
There we
He
go.
had a player to his left. You could just pass it to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went for
This is what Arsenal does, Gary. We went a goal up, a great move with Partey and Willian feeding Aubameyang. We get a goal up, and we gift them back a goal.
Yeah, I mean, he basically. I don't think Chris Wood knew what was going on. I don't think he knew what was going on. There's no way he was like, okay, I think I know what's going to happen here. He's going to try to clear it over me or by me or whatever. He's going to miss kick it and kick it off my hip. I mean, so I better put my hip right here. All right.
Yeah. Crazy game. We could have had numerous VAR decisions go our way. Basketball in the penalty box against Pepe. I think a double ricochet, but clear handball. VAR doesn't give it us. And Ceballos, it's a great shot off the upright in the last seconds.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I mean, those opportunities were good ones, and we needed more of that, right? We see those things time and time again, but it's usually from bad positions, right? Usually when we're trying, we need to be drawn and at the beginning of the game and put pressure on them, but we didn't do it. That game, like you said, we lost. We lost the 2 points there.
Lost 2 points there. Tony Molina's asking thoughts on some Chelsea fans yesterday putting the Chelsea flag on Henry statue outside the Emirates. Kind of distasteful, if I'm honest. Disrespectful, but it's banter. But
yeah, it's kind of a banter you kind of expect. It's a little bit disrespectful, but it's something you're to see.
I can say if we had done that, and I don't know if Chelsea have any statues of note around their stadium. If any of our Arsenal fans would have went.
I mean, I don't know. We didn't go out of our way to go to their stadium. I don't know if it was out of their way or whatever, but it just seemed like, on our way back, we decided
put a flag on Fat Frank.
And yeah,
it looked like a.
You know what? The only way we can do it is shut them up, and we can't. You know what? The players don't want to do that. So the players are the ones that are going to look at it and go, you know what? Next time we play Chelsea, we're going to shut them up, right? But I don't think we got those types of players. I mean, Tierney might be the one player going, you know what? This is what they did to our stadium. This is what they did.
Tierney, Elneny, Chambers, Lacazette. That's probably about the only ones I can think of.
This is what you want from your captain. Look, this is what this team did. Their fans, this is what they think of us.
Yep. Moving on anyway, because they don't deserve our time. Okay, so we give ourselves an extra 2 points away to Burnley. We win at Olympiacos 3-1. Odegaard scored his first goal. Odegaard comes back and scores in North London derby. We'll remember that one now by Aubameyang being late, whatever happened there. We take our eye off the ball against Olympiacos at home, lose 1-0, but we're through to the next round, which is probably what I just said is what the players were thinking. It's okay, we're through to the next round. Don't worry about it, right? And we get to a crazy game, Gary. West Ham 3, Arsenal 3, and I was driving at the time, and in quick fashion we were 2 goals down, three goals down, but the comeback was good. I don't know still what to make of that game, Gary.
Oh, that game is Arsenal, right? That game is basically the way the season went. You come out, you lose 8 of the first 15. You go in, you win, you look like you look really good, and then you have an opportunity to maybe get all the points, and you just fall short. All right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we did. That's basically how our season went. We kind of lost all the points in that first 30 minutes of that match, right? In basically 15 minutes, the match was over, or at least it looked like it. And if you're an Arsenal fan at that point, you're going, how in the world are we going to recover
Get
from
3
this?
goals.
We just 3 goals in 32 minutes, 33 minutes of this match, and we're down 3-0.
Yeah.
How
And perhaps Gary said as much about West Ham at the time as it did us, because West Ham got themselves into this position numerous times. I actually enjoyed watching West Ham this season. I'm not going to lie. They would have been my second team this season. Nothing against them. I'm actually glad they're in Europe. They deserved it, the season they've had. But Gary, they would get 3 goals up and then start conceding goals. They would concede.
We're hoping that we get that opportunity, right? Because, like you said, this is par for the course. They can't hold on to a lead, and it doesn't matter how many goals, they will let you back in. And I think this is the game that Chambers this is the game that Chambers kind of led us, right? Coming off that went coming off on that right hand side, I believe. Putting balls in that actually had an opportunity to, would somebody get on the end of it. Most of the time it wasn't our player, but we still scored, right?
Yeah. And you could make a case. You could make a case that we could have won that game, we could have lost that game, but in the end, I left that alone. It's a draw. It's a point we gained.
We definitely had opportunity to win, but we set ourselves up really badly in that first 30 minutes. So you take away that 30 minutes, and maybe we played the same game. Maybe we don't score 3 goals, but maybe we were able to squeak out a 1-0 win. Right? So.
Yeah, at this point, Mahir, at this point, we were in great shape. No injuries at all in our season. I think there was an international break. Aubameyang goes away here after the West Ham game. Contracts malaria. We didn't know it at the time. And he comes back against Liverpool, has a terrible performance due to the fact that he wasn't feeling well. Tierney gets injured in that game as well, and this would have an impact on us in the next month or so, Mahir.
This is the reason why I think international breaks are a massive waste of time. If you want, what you can do is in that time rather have the players rest for important things such as Champions League, even Europa League, and the Premier League and the respective leagues, La Liga, etc., etc. But specifically within our case, Premier League, like
plenty of time to do them in June and July.
Yeah, man, but that's the thing. They don't take these things into account. Everything is money, money, money. More views, more views. I would, as a player, if I was playing for Arsenal, for example, right, I'd ask them to contract me to more club games than country games, because do we really even watch the Euros and these international and the World Cups and stuff? We don't really watch and be like, as passionate as that.
Certainly not the qualifying.
Wait until we have a
parts
pause
of it.
in the season during December next year.
Yeah.
It definitely needed to be postponed, especially with all that was going on in the world, right? There's no reason to have players traveling all around.
Exactly.
And then coming back, not only the traveling part, but they have to come back. So now you're just increasing the risk, right, to not only their teammates, but now to another set of teams in a different country, right? Not necessary at that point. And it's like you said, it's just for qualifying for what, for certain events. You know what? People would probably rather see, as soon as the season ends, Euros start up, all those European, all the international, all the national teams go out there and play all those games over whatever course of time. And then the summer's busy. Yes, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the players, but these aren't regular times, so they're going to be under pressure anyways. So the team with the bigger depth will win. And this might have been a case for England maybe doing that, because they have probably the deepest team probably in the Euros, right, in terms of quality of players
If
that they got. So
if they use them right, yeah, if they use those players right.
That's a different story, right? Just because you have Messi on your team doesn't mean you're going to win everything, right?
Yeah, and we know that as well. As Arsenal fans, we know that.
Ignore
Tony,
who the manager is, Ray.
Tony, kudos to the medical crew at Arsenal. It took them a little while, and maybe they were thinking it was COVID that Aubameyang had contracted, but they eventually figured out it was malaria, and hopefully he's going to come back next season to the Aubameyang of last season, not the one just gone by, because that wasn't good.
He was crap before malaria. He's crap after malaria. I just don't see him coming back.
Well, we're going to have an interesting predictions then. We'll have a predictions podcast in August sometime. We'll get you on record then. You know what I mean?
I'll do good again.
Yeah, you'll say Liverpool and mean City.
I swear I said City.
Anyway,
you did.
I meant
but
to say City.
You followed it up with Liverpool. It's okay, Tony. It's all right, dude. I was on your side because I know Ray. Everybody knows Ray, right? They know he likes to pull one over, cover our eyes. And, you know what? You didn't see that, but he this time, like I said, his audio quality was really good. He did a really good job of splicing that tape and putting some words in your mouth. But perfect. I saw it. It's there.
I heard it. Saw it and heard it.
Can I blame the infection in my foot?
No. Which foot?
The foot that's gone.
Speaking of feet, we went into 2 legs then, Tony, with Tierney's injured. Our big solution is not what we prepared for all of last season, using a generational player at left back and left wing back in a 3 and a 4 in Bukayo Saka. No, it's not that one.
Yeah, but it's 2 biggest games of our season, we don't use Saka. Then a game after
Swiss Army knife. We asked the Swiss Army knife to do a job, and he's willing to do that job. But maybe we shouldn't be asking him to run a nuclear plant when he doesn't know which levers to pull. No,
yeah, like I said,
or buttons to press.
We said
Tony, take it away, Tony.
What?
Take it away.
We sat there and we don't use Saka in our 2 most important games of the season. Then the game after, guess what? He's back at left back or left wing back. It makes no sense at all.
Yep.
It's back to Lego binary, not making any sense. Only Ray understands Lego binary.
Hey, I understand it. It doesn't mean that I like it. There's 2 differences there, right? Really. It's one. Well, more than 1 point against Arteta in this season. A big blight on the season, Gary.
Your first thought, the first thing you said is probably what you meant. That's okay. We understand.
What did I say?
You said the one thing that he did wrong is basically where you were going with that. Then you corrected yourself when you realized that was the wrong thing he did that day.
How many boxes of Lucky Charms did Ray have this morning?
It's infuriating when you think that you could have been in the Europa League final, and you could have beaten a very poor Manchester United on the day, and you could have been in the Champions League. And are we equipped to be in the Champions League next season? Probably not. But we would have been in the hat. We would have been there. We would have earned some money. We may have dropped down into the Europa League in the new year, but it would have been.
Look at what Spurs, look at what Chelsea's done with not very good teams the last 4 years in the Champions League, getting to the semifinals. So you don't know unless you get to the Champions League. We haven't got there since Zaka's been at the club. Time for Zaka to go bye-bye. Time to get some decent midfielders because our midfield just completely sucks. We can't transition from defense to attack. And it's kind of hard to transition from defense when you don't know what center back or left back or right back where to be playing.
So, Tony, the final point of my 6 that I think that we should have gathered that we left on the table. Now we'll argue it's 15, 20, whatever. But for me, it's 6. Final point is that Everton game at home. Leno lets the ball through his hands. Should never have happened. Should have gotten away
Zaka
with
fell
it.
down twice. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, yeah, we all know that. When Leno lets the ball, it's a soft shot. Leno lets the ball through his hands.
Leno was probably in shock watching Zaka fall down twice.
Gary, I think people are going to be tuning in to see what Mahir is eating.
I know exactly. First it was the cherry lollipop, and now he's got the cupcake.
At least you can see what he's eating.
Gary, you think we should have picked up the extra point there by Leno and not letting that goal in?
Definitely. I mean, and it's one of those things, and it's a catch. We should have probably had more of an attacking, approach to the game as well. But we definitely should have never let that goal in. If we're going to play to a draw, that goal's got it. It can't go in, and it's twofold. It starts with Xhaka giving up, falling down, basically, and giving up, letting the player come on to the goal. But then it should be an easy stop for Leno. He makes so many crazy saves in the games and blocks in games, and for that one to be the one that just goes through and scores, it's like. And that is the problem with this team, right? We say they don't play for 90 minutes. They don't play all the way to the whistle. They don't, give it 100% all the time. That's what it looks like. You play a draw game and you give up an easy goal like that. I mean, I mean, like
Horrible.
you said, this point, and that point. You take that point, give it to us. What does that mean?
Or
When you add it all up, I've got an extra 6
No,
points.
just
and
that
it means-
1 point. Where do we go with that 1 point?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Don't we get? Isn't that the point? Is that makes the difference?
But put this in your Europa Conference League.
Doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah, okay.
Doesn't it?
That Singletary point, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
we were 1 point from seventh, I think, right?
Yeah.
That game
Right.
we
So
had
you give us the
14
1
shots
point, and that's
and
the
3
one.
on
That was an
targets.
easy point to get. Of all the points that we've missed,
The one over Tottenham, we finish above Tottenham. Yeah, we take their place. We knock them out. Frustrating, very, very frustrating. And what's
me,
even more
we should-
frustrating, Tony, we finished with 5 in a row, 5 wins in a row.
Yeah,
little,
this
too
game
late.
we should have got 3 points. We had 14 shots, 3 on targets. We should have been more clinical and won the game.
Right here.
My question to you guys and to our Arsenal fan family, circle family, is: do you guys really want to be playing in this new opposed third-tier European competition called the UEFA Conference League?
Well, I did want to. I
don't want
want
to be
to be
playing
in
on
there.
Thursdays, but we've been doing it the last 4 years. I want to be playing on Champions Leagues on
Yeah, I
Tuesdays
did want to
and
be there,
Wednesdays.
but I can see the benefits of not being there, and we're going to have a long summer ahead of us to talk about the benefits of that.
Right?
The same. Here we go. The same reasons. The same reason.
What's the benefits?
Yeah.
Where's the young players that be playing?
Tune in Thursday.
When I think about it, they're the same reason why we feel West Ham is going to struggle in Europa, right, next season, along with all their other domestic games that they're going to have to play, is the same reason why we needed to be still playing in Europe, because we can't build up a squad that's going to be prepared to play European games. If what we're saying, because everybody's saying it right now, we can play with a reduced squad, right? So we're going to play with a reduced squad, right? Which means a lot of our players may go out, we may sell them or whatever, but we won't be set up to play in the European League if we were to qualify next season, because we haven't done
we'll
it.
have to
And now we're
build
gonna
our
have to go
squad
back
back up.
and reinvent the wheel again, because guess what? Lego binary, once it stops and restarts, it just everything it did before, it doesn't build on it, right? We don't see that ever, so we're expecting the same thing again. Right. So that's the only reason. That's one of the reasons why I felt like we needed to have it, is because I don't think we're a team that can take a step back. Right. I don't think we're a team that can take our foot off the gas when we're playing and say, you know what, we'll take this game off and we'll win it. We'll win.
Yes,
we'll
I
try to
agree with you. We had that situation, Gary, against Crystal Palace. We had a week to prepare. Very, very lucky to get that win, the second last game of the season. Listen, we got to leave it there. Going to get out of here, and that has been our look back. Hindsight is 2021. We did the season review with a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a Star Wars twist to it. Hopefully, our season has turned on December 26th.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. Who's Jar Jar Binks? Did we actually
Oh.
cast that one?
I want
Misa.
everyone to let me know what you think in the comments section, and there will be a boxing match after the podcast. Catch us Thursday. We're out of here, and we will be back Thursday. We're going to go through the Euros. So Arsenal, he lost his head.
Somebody
Over and
lost
out.
their
We're out
head.
of here.